Good morning, students. Today I am going to start new unit which is related to plant physiology, as you can see. So this is chapter number 6 and the topic is photosynthesis. So from the lower classes you all know what is photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is a process, you can see it is written on the blue box also. It is the life surviving or life giving process by which living plants or cells they produce their own food in the form of starch and glucose from the chlorophyll pigment, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water. And they plant release oxygen as a byproduct or as a during photosynthesis process. So it is a way of life processes. It provides food not only to the plants but to all the animal life including humans also. So it is a life supporting system and it liberates oxygen gas into the atmosphere, which is beneficial for us for breathing. So whole process of photosynthesis has been performed by two reactions, dark reaction and light reactions. Now what is the importance of photosynthesis? So photosynthesis provides food for all. As you know, all the in all the food chain is related to the producers, and producers perform the photosynthesis. So this provides, photosynthesis is the ultimate source of energy and it gives the food in the form of glucose and stored it in the form of starch. So consumers take food from the producers. So it helps in the continuity of food chain in our biosphere. Now the second importance is oxygen. So during the oxygen gas, so during the photosynthetic reaction, we all know that it releases the oxygen gas into the atmosphere as a byproduct, and oxygen gas is the supportive gas for all the other organism. No living organism can remain alive without oxygen. Now next topic is the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the vital plant pigment. So chloro means green and phyll means leaf. So it is a green pigment that is found in the green plants. It gives leaf and stem green color. It is contained in microscopic cell organelles. So it is present in the chloroplast. So chloroplasts are the minute oval bodies. It is a double membrane cell organelles and their interior contains flattened sac-like or disc-like thylakoids which are arranged in the piles like piles of coins. So they are called grana and they are present in the colorless ground substance which is called stroma. So there are two types of two parts of the chloroplast which is very important. First one is grana and another one is stroma. So you can see in the picture here, figure 6.1, they are showing the thylakoids, flattened sac-like structure, this pile-like, coin-like structures. They are called, this pile-like structure or thylakoids is called the granum, and this is the stroma. So stroma is the ground fluid, like you know that cell contains the cytoplasm. So you can also say that stroma is the cytoplasm part of the chloroplast, and it is double membrane. So it has the outer membrane, it has the inner membrane, and it has the fret which interconnect the bars, means it interconnects the one thylakoid into the other. So here you can see that there are in a cell there are approximately 40 to 50 number of chloroplasts are present, and the pigment chlorophyll is contained in the thylakoids. So you can see the thylakoids are dark green in color due to the chlorophyll pigment. You can see. So it is highly complex substance and it is made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, magnesium. So all these are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, magnesium. These elements, all the elements make up the thylakoids or the chlorophyll pigment. So chloroplasts are mainly contained in the mesophyll cells. So they are mainly present at the mesophyll region of the leaf, and they are present between the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis in the center part, in palisade cell region or spongy cell region. So here diagram is also given. You can see they are showing here stomata also. Now there may be more than 500,000 chloroplasts per square mm of a leaf. So many. And you know, chlorophyll pigment is of different types. There are 9 type of chlorophyll pigment are there in the leaf. 2 out of these are chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, which are present at a high amount. So high amount, high quantity chlorophyll A and B are present. So what is the function of the chlorophyll, why it is important in the photosynthesis process? So we should know that chlorophyll has the ability to absorb the sunlight, because you know photosynthesis cannot be takes place in the absence of sunlight. So chlorophyll is the this pigment absorbs the sunlight from both the ends of the visible spectrum, blue and red, and it reflects the green light. So it absorbs, remember always that it absorbs the blue and red light, but it reflects away the green light. That's why chlorophyll appears or plant appears green, because it is reflecting the green light and absorbing the blue and red light. So it is written also, this is one give reason type of question. Why chlorophyll appears green? So because it reflects the green light. The absorbed blue and red light are most effective for photosynthesis. Now, but there is an appropriate, you know, every time we all know that in for completion of every processes, there are optimum factors are needed. Okay, favorable conditions should be optimum. Too much and less conditions or factors can damage or can that halt the processes. So too much light destroy chlorophyll. You can see here chlorophyll is highly sensitive to light, and too much light can destroy it. Even the less in the absence of less light also, photosynthesis will not takes place properly. So we all know that the grass growing in the shade under a stone, it remains yellowish only, because it will not produce the green pigment, and due to the disintegration of the older one in the absence of light. So light, optimum conditions of light, carbon dioxide, water and chlorophyll pigment is very important for the proper condition of the photosynthesis. Now regulation of stomata. So stomata are present on the leaves. They are present on the lower part of the leaf in higher number than the upper part. So you can see that what are stomata. So stomata are the minute openings. They are present at a large number on the lower surface of a leaf, as I informed you. Now the main function of chlorophyll. So chlorophyll helps in the exchange of gases. So it performs 2 functions, you can see. First one is exchange of gases and the second one is transpiration process. So both, transpiration means water loss, extra water loss from the plant, that is also done by the stomata. So they are the very important parts, and they are present at a lower level surface of the leaf. So when stomata are not in use for photosynthesis during the dark time, night time, they tend to close their opening so that water loss is minimized. So during the night time or during the shady day, they remain closed. So so that water will not transpire from the plant. So when there is a light, as after sunrise, they reopen and they only perform the exchange of gases. CO2 can easily diffuse in from the atmosphere, and it will perform photosynthesis. So transpiration occurs along with photosynthesis. So during the daytime, transpiration also takes place simultaneously with the photosynthesis. So due to this process, one can say that transpiration is the price which the plant pays for photosynthesis, because you know that both are the opposite. We all know for photosynthesis plants need a high amount of water, a sufficient amount of water, but if the transpiration rate will be high at that time or higher than the photosynthesis, then what will happen, that plant will lose more water. So for photosynthesis, plant will not get the enough water. So that's why it is written that transpiration is the price which the plant pays for photosynthesis. Now the closing and opening of the stomata are on the account of the movement of the water. So when the stomata get the water only, then only their inner wall becomes, or the guard cells become turgid. So they have the thick inner wall facing the opening and thin outer wall which is on the opposite side, and their cytoplasm contain chloroplast also. So you can see stomata are green in color because they contain the chloroplast, and they also contain the chlorophyll pigment. Now there are two theories which shows or which explain the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. So first one is the recent theory, and the old this is sugar concentration is the old theory. So what according to the new theory, recent theory, I told you in the nervous system chapter also that there is a sodium pump which helps in the transmission of the nerve fibers. Same as here is a potassium ion pump. This pump is triggered by the ATP or energy, and it helps in the opening and closing of the stomata. So according to the recent potassium ion concentration theory, the stomata open and close depending on the generation of potassium ion gradient. So if it will be equilibrium, then it will allow the allow the exchange of gases. It will help in the opening of the stomata. Now during the daytime, the chloroplast in the guard cell lead to the formation of ATP, because you know during photosynthesis energy is also released. So this ATP is used to activate this potassium pump, and when the potassium ion pump will get activate, then it will allow guard cells to become turgid, so that it can easily exchange the gases. So increased potassium concentration in the guard cells makes them hypertonic, so that more water can drawn in or come in, and the cells become more turgid, so that it will remain open. So the pore remain open, you can see here. So reverse happen at night. Potassium ions leak out, or you can say the concentration or the amount of potassium ion will become decreased or reduced. So it will reduce the turgidity. In that case, the guard cells become flaccid, and the stomata pore will be closed. So if it will be closed, then no exchange of gas takes place during the night. So this is the recent theory. Now, but here is a sugar concentration theory, which is the old theory. So according to this old theory, we all know that sugar is the product of photosynthesis reaction. So during the daytime, as we know that the guard cells being photosynthetic during the photosynthesis, the sugar produced during this process increases the so during photosynthesis, this sugar which is formed during the photosynthesis, it increases the osmotic pressures, and this pressure draws in the water, allows the water to enter inside. Endoosmosis means water is coming inside, hence the guard cells become turgid, and outer and it bulge outside due to the thin in outer wall, and it allow stomata pore to open, and it can perform the exchange of gases and transpiration as well. But during the night time, just reverse will takes place, so the diffusion of gases in and out can fulfill the requirement of photosynthesis. So this is the old theory, but nowadays scientists just invented this potassium ion concentration theory. Now closing of stomata. So if for any reason the water content of the leaf will become short, it will minimize, the water is drawn out, and then it will create the exoosmosis. Then what will happen? It will not be flaccid, it will turn flaccid. As a result, their inner thick wall is straightened to close the stomata. So the water level is very important. Now I told you this is the diagram. You can see here is the diagram of mesophyll cells. So here mesophyll cell is divided into two parts: palisade cells, upper one, and spongy cells. So here only in the mesophyll cell region only stomata is present. So here you can see this part, they are showing the stomata. This is the stomata, and this arrow is showing that showing that water is coming out, means transpiration process, water vapor transpiration process. So remember this mesophyll region. Now mesophyll cell, both palisade and spongy, are the principal center for the photosynthesis activity. During the daytime, when sunlight falls on the leaf, the light energy is trapped by the chlorophyll, which is present at the mesophyll cell. You can see whole are the chloroplast are there, and the pigment is there, and it has tendency to absorb the sunlight. So this energy is utilized in chemical process involved in the manufacture of food. So the food which is produced during the photosynthesis is a chemical with chemical glucose. So where the raw material are CO2 and water. So plants take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and it enters the leaf by diffusion process, because outside the environment the concentration of CO2 is higher than the inside. So through the stomata, in this diagram they are showing the water vapor, but through this stomata only the CO2 enters into the mesophyll cell and helps in the photosynthesis. Next is water. So whenever we give water to the plant, so through the root here it is absorbed and just send it to the stem, and finally it reach to the leaf, where it is distributed equally in the mesophyll tissue only. So you can see this reaction is very important. So you can underline the chemical equation. It is representing the photosynthesis. It is very important equation. 6CO2 plus 12H2O. In the presence of light energy, sunlight and chlorophyll, it is producing glucose, C6H12O6, 6H2O, plus it is liberating 6O2, which is a life-giving gas. So the oxygen molecule, which is a carbohydrate, it is a simple sugar. It can readily solubilize in the water, and it can evenly distributed by different cells. So 6 molecule of water liberated, as you can see in the product side, 6H2O is liberated at the end of the process, and it can be again reused or reformed during the chain reaction. It can be transcribed also, and it can be reused during the photosynthesis process. So just go through this mechanism introduction. So in the next video I will explain you the phases of the photosynthesis. So thank you children, have a nice day. God bless you all.